Modern women are in shock as a groundbreaking new law against paternity fraud gets approved, turning the tables in a way no one saw coming. For years, the system protected deception. But now, accountability is catching up fast. Is this the end of the game for paternity fraud? Let's break it down.
A girl's having a baby, right?
Yeah.
She deliberately lies about who the father is.
Mm-hmm.
Should she go to jail?
Should she go to jail?
For lying.
Hell no.
What do you mean by that?
But
Hell yeah.
he should get some compensation if he paid and did some shit to take care of the mother.
Is she tripping? Yeah, nonsense.
Exactly. Anyone who lies about something like this should be punished according to the law.
What the is jail for?
She fucking lied.
Okay, maybe she didn't know.
No, I just said she deliberately lied about who the father is.
Should she go to jail?
Yeah.
No.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness? Do you think you do?
The problem here is that she's letting her feelings cloud her judgment.
The fuck? Jail ain't for everybody.
She scammed the
She didn't really, cause still at the end of the day. Oh my God.
If the mother doesn't know for sure who the child belongs to, there is a big possibility she cheated. They should be jailed and forced to pay back all the child support.
Are you happy with yourself?
I didn't think this through.
You didn't think this through. You didn't think you having another child on me, or even better yet, having another man in our house or in our daughter's bed.
I genuinely thought she was yours until she
You generally thought. Did you generally think that when you was laying down with someone else?
Are you crazy? What the hell?
I didn't think.
She clearly didn't, or they wouldn't be where they are right now.
I could get pregnant by more
You only have a little bit of sympathies because you found out you're not getting nothing in a divorce.
No, it's not true. I genuinely.
No, I'm not falling for
I
that.
thought she was yours.
No.
No.
You realize the speculations that I had of you, they came to be true in facts, and through your false infidelities in this relationship is the reason why I'm able to walk away.
This guy really got lucky to walk away and give nothing in the divorce, and many never get this privilege.
Scot-free.
Gotcha, bitch.
I don't gotta pay nothing to a child that's not even mine. And thank God the judge overruled the birth certificate. I signed the birth certificate of another man's child.
What are you gonna? You've been her father up until now.
No. What I wanted to say is, please return the keys like the judge said, or I'm going to call the cops. All of your stuff is already in the curb. You can stop the cries. You can call your parents to come pick you up.
She, for a fact, lost everything, and all because of her disloyalty.
The car stays with me.
See that one coming up.
The jewelry stays with me. The bank card stays with me. Everything stays with me. But what can't go with you is you and your child. Well, you should have thought about that before you did what you did. Goodbye. Goodbye.
She can always go to the other guy, and we'll see if he'll be as welcoming as he was before.
Okay, so what is the ammunition to make it mandatory there? Is it not feelings or
Making
whatever
it
that
no.
that
Okay,
also
so
comes
wait a
into
second.
play?
Okay, so to that, the same way you would feel disappointed or hurt or however you would feel.
I know the man would feel the same way if he
If
found
he
out
found-
it wasn't his.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I know that.
Oh my God! Wow!
One thing, just find out what the DNA is, and we won't have to worry about any of it.
Right, like that
It will
potential
all not
issues of
exist.
like, because that could create a lot of issues. If
One,
you're willing to
why
go through that
wouldn't
type
you
of
wanna
stuff,
know? That
then
is-
hey, that's up to you. But I
Hold
mean,
on.
if you can avoid
Why
that.
wouldn't you want to know right then and there?
Exactly. Those results should be announced at birth to get it over with and live happily ever after.
I mean,
Because if it ain't no question, you can find out. If it ain't no question, why?
then he
Who
wouldn't be
cares?
hesitant to take it. Yeah, I agree with that.
But what I'm
I
saying is,
feel
y'all don't
like
ever
that.
have a woman never had to experience the hurt of that child not being hurt.
They will always know that the kid is theirs, but it's not the same for the man.
All my family and friends out there, I just got some bad news. There's too many of y'all. I can't call everybody, so I decided to make this video. I'm finna get this girl a call.
Hello?
What's up?
He found out his kid wasn't his and decided to call the lady. And this is what she had to say.
I got some bad news.
What?
So I decided to get a DNA test on Mika.
Okay.
And the DNA test came back, and I just found out I'm not Mika dad.
Come on, now you lying.
I'm so serious. The papers is right in front of me.
Well, them can't be no like papers.
Her not taking this seriously is making this worse.
How could you do something like this to me?
Do what?
You know what? I've been in this baby life since she was born. I signed her birth certificate.
No, lady.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
Some people would lie to the last second, ignoring the facts.
How could you do this to me? I went to her K-5 graduation. I was there.
You can't be serious right now.
And you laughing and you think it's funny?
It's an evil world we live in.
Are you playing?
No, I'm not playing. This is so serious. Why would you do something like this to me? So you've been sleeping behind my back?
What?
You had me thinking that she was my baby for 7 years?
Lord, you are the father. You don't need worry to tell you that. Come on now.
And I feel like you're making jokes about this whole situation when this is serious. I'm so hurt right now. I can't believe you would do this to me. I was there when she lost her first tooth.
She belongs to the streets.
I helped her with her homework. We spent so much time together. And you still lying on his phone when a DNA test came back and said I am not the father? I can't believe you would do something like this to me.
I feel bad he had to deal with someone this immature.
I really can't take the same right now.
Alright. Alright. You know something? You know something? You wrong. You so wrong.
There is only one reason to not want a paternity test. Just one. And we know it. It's life-changing for the man and the child. They both have the right to know for sure.
There's so many women against doing paternity tests when the baby is born. I just made a video about the Laura Owen situation, a woman who accused the bachelor Clayton Eckert of being the father of her child, being indicted for paternity fraud because essentially she said that she was pregnant by him. She wasn't actually pregnant at all.
What?
So the judge actually decided to report her, and now there is a criminal case open against her for the paternity fraud.
That's what I'm talking about.
In my comment section, there are women talking about how women are entitled to bodily autonomy and that they also have to look out for the bodily autonomy of the child.
Respect to that judge for doing the right thing.
To do a DNA test, you don't actually need the DNA of the mother. Does it help the test go smoother? Yes, but having the mother's DNA is definitely not required. I get that it might be embarrassing or kind of rude, but shouldn't the father be able to know that the child is his just like the mother knows that the child is hers because it came out of her? It seems like we should know who the father of our children are, and it shouldn't be offensive for someone to ask for a DNA test.
You're goddamn right.
Let's all hope the test would be globally required upon birth and normalized.
It's mainly the girls, like, y'all happy because she get to be a deadbeat, bro? Y'all think I just went in there and like, hey, I want my kids and they gave them to me? Y'all see, I'm in a truck right now. Y'all see, I'm at work. I'm in Indiana, bro. I live in Georgia. Kid ain't tripping. When y'all had the kids, y'all want the dads to help out, right? It's like y'all happy that somebody just get to be a deadbeat. Like, oh yeah, let's go. But bro, these is kids. Go to Cabo, dog. I'm pissing me off, bro.
Fun fact. Paternity tests, which are used to confirm a man is the biological father of his child, are illegal in France.
I beg your pardon?
And if a father is caught using a paternity test in France or in any other country, he could face up to a year in jail and a $16,000 fine.
This sadly only encourages this to the worse.
In 1994, France banned DNA testing because it had the potential to break up too many families. Even today, at-home DNA tests like 23andMe are banned in France. Because in France, 5 out of 10 men and 4 out of 10 women admit to cheating on their partner.
Wow.
And culturally, the attitude towards cheating is quite relaxed. So the government worried that allowing DNA tests to be conducted freely would unnecessarily tear apart too many families, saying the law preserves the peace of families.
There is no peace even if they hide it with something like this.
And the only way to get a legal paternity test in France is if it's ordered by a judge.
Personally, have never understood this either. Like, seriously, why are these women not in jail? If you have a child and you lie to this man about the child being his, you should have to go to jail. That should be some sort of criminal offense, especially if you was receiving child support. I'm not understanding how that's not considered fraud.
And they should be ordered to return that child support to the guy if proven not to be his child.
If they were to actually make it a criminal offense, it's an easy case to prove. You know who you slept with and you know the time frame in which you slept with them. If there's even a possibility that that child does not belong to that man, you should have to disclose that. If you don't, and he goes and gets a DNA test and find out that that child is not his, baby, jail. If they was to do that, a lot of these trifling hoes cut that. And it's so crazy because they didn't got real trifling with it. There's situations where they will have both men thinking that the baby belongs to them and get money out of both of them. They might put one on actual legal child support and then the other one just have an arrangement set up and be like, hey, I won't put you on child support as long as you just giving me some money.
The only thing I'd wonder is how people like this sleep at night doing all these things.
There is nothing you can say to me to convince me that that should not be fraud. It just sound illegal as hell. And make that a felony offense. Even if they don't do a whole bunch of jail time, make that felony, ruin their lives. You know how difficult life is out here for a felon? I'm telling you, if they would just start punishing these women for doing shit like this, it would stop. The reason why they keep doing it is because they know they can do it and get away with it.
The only solution is to set an example, and no one would ever do it again.
My friend John just posted a video, and it was not just posted. He posted a video a couple whiles back talking about how men can get DNA tests off of Amazon to test their children. They don't even have to tell the baby mom type. He mentioned that in the comments there was reactions from women. Most of the reactions I saw was, why would you go and do that? You don't trust me type.
That's what I'm talking about.
And the other ones weren't really rational
Like I always say, if you are innocent, why would you act guilty?
arguments. They were just kind of hooping and hollering in the comments. I've said this a million times over the course of my social media platforms that I believe that DNA tests should be mandatory at the time of birth. Because if it's mandatory, then the women's feelings don't get hurt about man don't trust me, but then the man gets the 100% security of knowing that the person that he is about to be financially responsible for actually belongs to his genetic pool. You feel what I'm saying? And I caught a backlash on that one. But I think the bigger thing that people are escaping to remember here, if you are one of those women in the comments hollering about somebody DNA testing your kid, that gives me the
That's exactly what I meant. Being extremely defensive is not normal.
belief that you are hiding something. And I'm not saying that's necessarily the truth, because if you take it to the fact that you're not hiding anything, but you're like, well, he doesn't trust me, put it this way. If the roles were reversed and the man was the one producing the child, right? And you guys, could be the mom, maybe not be the mom, you would want that 100% certainty. It's not that far-fetched of an idea.
They shouldn't see it as an insult, but as a chance to prove their loyalty.
Anywho, as I said, I will stand 10 toes down on it. At the time of birth, it should be required. DNA testing, paternity testing should be required at the time of birth. Solves a lot of problems down the line. Have a day.
So quick question, y'all. Why is it that when a woman is found to be lying about who the father of the kid was and he paid child support for years at a time, why don't they ever have to pay that money back?
Exactly. That question always keeps me up at night.
No, I really need to know this. We need to know this. If it was such a mistake and you didn't know and it was a mistake and it was just a pure mistake, then why don't you right the wrong? Huh? No, am I the only one that think like this? Because ain't no way. I just read about a judge being married to a woman for over 50 years. And he found out through like some kind of blood test, because he needed a kidney or something, that the kids weren't his. She should be made to be forced to pay back every single dime he put into those children. I don't care. Because that's just not cool. That ain't right.
I think the men in those situations need to lawyer up and pursue the case. But at that point, they're just happy to be free from the child support. They forget to ask for their right.
husband is demanding a paternity test for his newborn child, or he won't sign the birth certificate. The wife and new mom gave some backstory on Reddit, sharing that she and her husband both worked hard on their college degrees and are now established in good careers. Her husband came into the relationship with a lot of debt, so she moved him into her house, which she owned, and helped him slowly pay things off. Eventually, the wife secured a better paying job, but it was a physically demanding job that required travel. And you can probably see where this is going. The woman became pregnant, and when she was 8 months pregnant, her husband demanded a paternity test out of nowhere. He said he trusted her, but because she traveled so much for work, he needed the assurance for his peace of mind.
It's 100% his right to be sure of his kids, and I don't blame him.
Apparently, his family and friends said he couldn't be sure about the pregnancy since his wife had spent so much time away. This request understandably upset his wife, so he dropped it. But 3 months after their son was born, he brought it up again, and this time he put his foot down, insisting he wouldn't put his name on their son's birth certificate without a paternity test. Too late, bud. That paperwork was filled out at the hospital. When he found out, it infuriated him. Now his family and friends are calling the new mom, pressuring her to let him do the paternity test. She says it's a slap in the face after all she's done for him. Research shows that without trust, relationships suffer, and this dad is definitely lacking trust.
It's sad how they told this story in a way that made the guy look bad for simply asking the truth.
Once trust is lost in a relationship, it's very hard to recover, and this wife has assured her husband many times that their son belongs to him and that she's been faithful. But he's choosing to take the words of his friends and family over his wife, and if he can't trust his wife, the future of their relationship might not be secure. And she shouldn't have to submit herself to a paternity test when she's given her husband no reason to doubt her loyalty.
The wife could have easily proven her innocence, but decided to give him every reason to be more suspicious.
Am I the not stopping my husband from getting the paternity test?
Relax.
So recently my husband asked me for a paternity test on one of our children. Why? Because he says that our child looks nothing like him. Now, I would never in a million years cheat on my husband. He has been my first and my only, and that's a fact.
Are you sure about that?
But I did tell my husband, go ahead and get the paternity test, because I am no one to tell you that you can't do that with your own child. I have nothing to hide. So he did in fact get the paternity test, and of course it came back that it was his son, and I told him,
See, it is easy, and they overcomplicate things.
Good, now you know that he's your son, so now you're going to pay child support.
Huh?
After he asked me what I meant by that, I told him that if he feels like our child was not his and he was doubting me, then there's no reason for us to stay married, and I want to get a divorce. So that's exactly what I did. I took my son, we are now staying in a hotel, and yes, I'm definitely filing for divorce.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
And now my husband is texting and calling me, begging for me to go back. He's apologizing, saying that he made a mistake.
He let his pride aside and asked for forgiveness, but still she didn't want to logically consider his offer.
And he also said that if I had such a problem with it, then I should have stopped him instead of acting like a bratty child and ruining our relationship. I'm not exactly sure how I can do that when he's the one that believed that I was cheating on him and that our child was not his, so I guess it's...
She really overreacted and ruined her marriage, and I just feel sorry for the kid that had no say in all of this.
So Brett Fairley, who went viral for his insane paternity fraud story recently, was just arrested and made to take down all of his videos. It's a lot, but I'll give you the quick breakdown. So Brett is a young man who ends up getting approached by an older woman named Maria who asks him to be her sperm donor. She convinces him with paperwork and everything that it's all on the up and up. He's not going to be legally responsible for this child. Despite this arrangement and them only having a one-night stand to complete this arrangement, Maria ends up finding Brett's mom and grandma and tells them that she's pregnant with Brett's child and convinces them that he should be involved with the pregnancy.
This is a scam at this point, and she should be jailed for it.
His mom and grandma now want to be a part of the baby's life, so they convince Brett that he should be too. So he agrees to start paying child support. But after a little over a year, having paid now $55,000 to this woman for this baby, he ends up taking a paternity test and finds out the baby isn't even his. Not only that, but Brett finds out that Maria likely knew who the real father was this entire time, but refused to disclose it because the real father was married to another woman at the time. Oops! So Brett goes to court for paternity fraud, asking for his name to be taken off the birth certificate, child support to end, and to be paid back for all the child support he did pay. In a kind of surprising victory, the courts actually do agree to end Brett's parental and child support obligations, but they don't make Maria pay him back.
It is disappointing when the system fails like this sometimes.
And I'm pretty sure his name is still on the birth certificate. The judge also assigns a mutual restraining order for the both of them, meaning that neither of them can ever talk about this case again. Basically a gag order. But according to Brett, Maria broke this order almost immediately by contacting his family, telling them that he's a deadbeat who abandoned his child. So Brett decides that he too is going to defy the order and clear his name. And that's when he made a multi-part series detailing all the lies, how he got played, and also his own mistakes along the way to help educate other men. I actually remember one interview where Brett was asked what he would tell his younger self if he could, and he said that if he had ever heard a story even remotely similar to what he went through, he would have never been in that situation. So his story does have the ability to prevent this from happening. But obviously the courts don't want the story out there. Why? It just makes you wonder, especially when you consider that in other countries like France, it's actually illegal for men to perform paternity tests on their kids.
Let's all take a lesson from this story to not fall victim to such a disaster. Well, guys, that was all for today. We'll be back soon.